What again? Oh, hey, Doc. I gotta go. I gotta go. Okay. Well, episode 26 coming up. I'll come back. Hi, everyone. Subscribe and everything. Anyway, get out of my way. Well, thanks for that introduction. We're going to get to episode 26. 26 on page 222. Here it goes. What are we looking for? Not what, but who, says Baby Doll. She continues to stand very still and straight as if waiting for something to happen. She exhales with a long pause and says, Brady and Boxie are supposed to meet us here. Perhaps we're just early, says Champ with ascetic optimism. Thump! All of a sudden, by GQ, as Sherlock Holmes lands on his feet that footed from above. No, we are on time. Something else seems afoot, says the Inspector GQ, with his constant vigil and inspecting the surroundings with his magnifying glass. Marie rolls her eyes as Champ and says to Baby Doll, what is he talking about now? GQ ignores Marie and walks over to Champ and says, somebody has been here. Someone from the military. I found grease smear marks on the rail and small amounts of rubber from an army boot soles left behind. Baby Doll looks tense as she quickly begins to sniff the air and listen for any kind of movement. GQ, as Sherlock Holmes, continues to walk around the room with his magnifying glass, looking for more clues. He suddenly approaches a very tall corner of the room and gets on the floor with his hands and knees to look at something closer. Baby Doll continues to smell the air while Marie, with folded hands, turns to her mother and says, he's such a... I just can't say it. I know, says Bailey quickly. You don't have to say another word. Marie looks over to Baby Doll and says, what a sad story. Someone as sweet and good as Baby Doll to be cheated on so blatantly is just wrong. I know, says Bailey with shared resentment. Champ, come here, as GQ peers closer to the ground. Champ wets his fingers and lifts up the fine powder that GQ has showed him, smells it and tastes it. Sand and Masonic powder, says Champ. Yes, GQ. But from where? Everything here is meticulously clean and in good repair. Champ's eyes traverse upwardly to the concrete about 20 feet in the air on the wall, where he notices that one of the bricks is not aligned with the others. Baby Doll looks upward and says, I can see it. It sticks out only a few centimeters. To the casual observer, it would never be seen. Unless one has sizzle-cat eyes, replies GQ with an off-handed compliment to his ex-wife. Marie, would you come here, please? I have a job that requires your expertise, says Champ dryly. She walks up to him, looks up and back at him and says, my expertise? You mean you want me to walk up that wall and check it out? Champ smiles politely and says entreatingly, would you, dear, please? Marie smirks and gives a warm look as she quickly scurries up the flat surface wall with her gecko feet and hands and stops right at the spot. She grabs hold of a brick with a free hand and begins to wiggle it out on its spot. When she finally completely removes it from the wall, she reaches inside the compartment area and removes 3 round CD discs in a plastic bag. The instructions are on each of the discs and the order for them to listen to. She reinserts the brick in its place and scurries back to the ground. GQ is waiting for her, reaches out and says, "Let me have that, lass. It looks important." She retracts her hand and moves back up the wall out of his reach and says, "No, I'll hang on to it. Besides, where is baby doll?" GQ continues to hold his hand out and says, "Come on, lass. Don't be so petty. I'm GQ. I can be anything or anybody. Just give them to me and stop fooling around." Champ puts his hand on GQ's arm and guides it back to his side as he replies, "Don't worry, Christian. Marie can handle them. It is in good hands." Bailey begins to walk away to look for baby doll, who seems to have mysteriously vanished. She turns to the right and enters the section where they had not been yet. The room splits in 2 different directions as she immediately returns back to the group to inform the others. Marie, Champ, and GQ are all standing together when Bailey walks up to them and says, "I can't find baby doll anywhere. I found 2 hallways and came back here to tell you. Where did she go? Something may have happened. We need to split up in 2 groups and look for her." "Great," says GQ insipidly. "She's always going off on her own a lot these days. Come on, let's go find her." Bailey, Marie, and Champ all dislike his attitude toward her, but are determined not to make an issue of it now. Champ follows GQ as he strolls to the opening where Bailey has returned. Champ looks over to his shoulder and is amused that Marie is making full use of her power as she moves effortlessly along the wall like sure-footedness of a gecko lizard. They all arrive at the point of the 2 hallways. "We're going to have to split up in 2. GQ says, 'Bailey, you're with me.'" "I don't think so," says Bailey quickly. "Champ, I would feel better if I went with Marie." Champ makes a quick look at Marie, who has now ventured to the ceiling and is hanging upside down and nodding her head in agreement. "Good idea," says Champ quickly. "Christian, you're with me. We'll go to the left and let the girls go to the right." As Champ begins to lead, GQ reluctantly follows. His obvious disappointment is almost starting to change from disappointment to resentment after being slighted again by the girls. He takes a quick look at Marie, who seems to be pleased by the sudden turn of events. The girls exit the right and disappear from sight. And now we come to Chapter 20, Under Attack. "Marie, it's pitch dark in here. I can't see a thing," says Bailey. Bailey is almost startled as she feels Marie's hands touch her shoulder from the ceiling. "Not for me," says Marie, who wants one of her 3 powers is being able to see in the dark. "Just take it slow." "I don't see a thing. Wait, I see a light ahead. Mom, lean up against the wall and wait for me. I'm turning invisible and I'm going to see what it is. You just wait here." After a few minutes passes, Marie returns and says there's nothing up there. It's only a big circle that takes us to the level below. It's like going to where we came from. They return to find Champ and GQ waiting for them. Champ says to Marie, "There is nothing down there we could see, but I suspect there may be some secret rooms or trapdoors all through this place, and there are many dark areas. We're going to have to be very careful." "Champ's right," says Marie. "I saw a lot of markings on the wall in areas that seem suspicious." "Why don't we split up? We need to find my wife before she does something crazy, says GQ with bitterness. I don't know, says Bailey. Maybe we should all just follow Marie. After all, she is the only one here who can see in the dark. Poof! A cloud of white smoke erupts and dissipates as GQ's Sherlock Holmes character is gone and replaced with a silver miner equipped with a flashlight beacon emanating from his hard hat. Or you could follow me, says GQ with glee as he gestures for it with his head to be followed. Reluctantly, Champ follows him while Maria and Bailey stand motionless and contemplating what area of the darkness to pursue. Let's go this way, Mom, says Marie to Bailey, who is slightly puzzled. Marie has chosen an area of lighted steps that descend to the ground of the structure. I think we need to check below and outside the structure for any footprints or any clues. I just can't believe old Sherlock didn't think about that himself, says Marie with biting wit. As they descend the stairways from which they had entered, Bailey sees something flash at the distance. Before she can say a word, an explosion projectile unleashes its force, causing Marie to fall to the ground. That's me. And now all of a sudden, Bailey freezes time. Time is frozen. Bailey instantly darts a few steps ahead of her to catch her as Maria follows. She freezes time for the 5 seconds while they both tumble down the stairs to the ground below. With seconds of frozen time left, she hurriedly places her daughter behind a small concrete sundial on the ground and takes shelter behind it as well. Time unfreezes now. More exploding projectiles strike the ground, sending dust particles fleeing into the air. The covering Bailey has found seems to be almost too small to protect them both for very long, and the grave concern of her face is confirmation of that. Suddenly, a light around them takes on an opaque appearance, and the sounds appear muffled. She turns around and sees Champ on top on the stairs, throwing his force-field bubble around them for protection. Another blast strikes the cement structure shaped strikes the cement-shaped support beam, only inches away from Champ's hips. He is startled, causing its force field to blink, leaving the others unprotected for only a second. He quickly repositions himself behind a wall for protection and returns the force field over to Marie and Bailey once again, while GQ finds himself on the outside as another blast comes in his direction. He quickly pulls out another card of his 53-character card deck and changes into GI Commando. He launches a volley of red flaming bullet-like missiles in the direction of the attack as the shadowy image of the dark robe bends the light as it moves swiftly from the brush area just ahead of them. A flash of beam of light strikes the weapon of GQ and throws it out of his hands many yards behind him. GQ immediately makes a run to retrieve his weapon, but ends up getting stunned when a beam hits part of the wall, striking him with shards of concrete, sending him to the ground and face down and now motionless. Bailey and Marie start banging on the inside of the bubble as if trapped in a large jar, saying, "Let us out, Champ. We've got to save him or he's got to be killed." Champ drops the force bubble as timeout freezes time. And this is where we stop. Time has frozen. And what will continue? What will happen? Stay tuned. There's more to come.